Alright, hello everyone. Sorry about the delay. Finally online. Having some internet trouble, some family stuff, so a little bit delayed, but anyways. Oh wow, we got a bunch of people in chat already. Blah blah blah. Enjoy the music. Okay. Alright. So you see there, that's our badge. I got a little beer here too. Let's see if I can get that in frame. Yeah, I got a little bit of beer, which is perfect for something like this. So this is something, I'm Zap by the way, this is something I've been working on since about September, is LULZCODE. Am I still playing the video? No, I'm not playing the video. Oh, suspended. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. Apparently Google has really good analytics. I do have chat up here on my other PC, so I'm trying to follow along. So I don't know how much of the trailer you could see, but we'll post it somewhere else other than YouTube or Google. But that was a little Westworld thing that Hiram put together for this. But it says they've got 12 watching. So while I'm here, LULZCODE is something I've been working on since September. Basically, the first year we did a DEF CON badge. How do I have an echo? This is what happens when I rush things. There's no speaker going on, Hiram. So I'm just going to roll with it. Basically, DEF CON 24, our first badge, we did Arduino, hoping people could reprogram it. We saw a couple people do it, but it was a pretty hard tool chain to do. So we came back last year, we did something called Tickle-ish. It was, we modified Tickle, added a few things so you can control the badge, but it was really kind of tedious. You had to take an SD card, write some stuff to it, put it back into the badge, reboot it, go and select your code, and it was very, very long, a lot of effort to make it work. So we came back last September, we're like, well, let's do this the right way, so let's actually make the badge run off of one of these high-level languages, and then make it run off the SD card. So you see MicroPython, those sorts of things, JavaScript even, that run on the ESP32. We decided to go with LULZCODE. I think this is something that Hiram found way back when. I was reading it and just about crying, just because it's so hilarious. Actually, let me see if I can bring up the web page for y'all. So LULZCODE, this guy Justin Meza, he maintains it right now, although it hasn't been maintained in a while. Bring it up here. Justin Meza maintains this thing, and it looks to be Turing complete. It has some basic input-output. It can do some file creation apparently, although we never really messed with that. It has variables as scoping different types. Booleans like truth. But if you just read through this, the thing I try to explain to people is the best way to understand it is you read it out loud. That's usually not the case with programming languages, but in this case it is. So if you want to add something, it's sum of x and y. Subtract is diff of, product, quotient, mod of, those sorts of things. Boolean, both same, different, blah, 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 blah. Concatenation, there's your input, output. Got some flow control, which is one of my favorites. Use it all over the badge. So you have an if statement, you have oh really, yeah really, some sort of code block, no way, oh I see, is how you end the block. Switch case, WTF, OMG, OMG, WTF, OIC. So that's basically just line for line. You can also replace it with a switch block from C. So I'm also looking at chat, so pretty funny seeing you guys about 10 seconds behind me. You got loops. Loops are also one of my favorites. I'm in your label, and the label's not really checked. It doesn't have to match, but in your label. Apparently in the future they're going to fix that. Some sort of operation, usually uppin or nerfin, increment or decrement, your variable, till or while, and then some expression. If you drop everything basically operation later, it's a loop that goes on forever. So I'm in your label, I'm out of your label, that's a while true sort of loop. It has functions. GTFO is return with no value. We use that several places, and then you can call functions. So pretty complete language overall. We realized we could do quite a bit with that, and actually had the Justin's interpreter, it's called LCI, actually running pretty early. I think I had it running by the end of September on the badge. But the other thing that's important, and we discovered last year with Tickle, was again that round trip of removing the SD card, writing your files in Notepad, and then dropping it, putting the SD card back in, rebooting, and selecting it, and then seeing if it broke. If it didn't break, good. If it did, there wasn't really good debugging. So that's where Atom came in. It turns out there's some LOL code, let's see what they call it, some extensions for Atom, the Atom editor from GitHub, now Microsoft, that will support it. So grab that, and let's see, I'll just open up this file. So they have code completion, syntax highlighting, all that stuff. And so we took that, and we'll be publishing our add-on soon, because we actually customize it further. We'll be publishing it soon. We add in our own stuff, because we took LOL code, added things to it, subtracted a few things, and then made it into LULZCODE. And that's what you see here. We also added a way, let me just load our extension, Control-Alt-L for anyone in the future who wants to know how to do this. Also add an extension so that you can upload to the badge. The badge supports Y modem, and so it's a very simple serial protocol from 1982 or something like that, something way back when. And implement a Y modem, and now we can sit here, put the badge in development mode, and actually see our code run and get output in real time. And so that's actually what this terminal is up here on the screen. That's the badge. I just booted it normally. We're running our 0.9 code right now, so it's not quite polished and complete, but it's pretty good. As you see, we have the bling menu up, so we can do all of our normal stuff. The badge runs a combination of C and LOL code. Things that are fast, obviously, are C, and then things that are slow, you see the loading screen, those things, that's usually LULZCODE. LULZCODE takes about 100K of RAM just to run one script of about average size. So we went with the ESP32 Rover. It has the external 4 megabytes of SPI RAM. I think this is the first time we've said that publicly. And that allowed, basically the whole reason we went with the Rover was so we could do this. I ended up buying those back in January when they were kind of hard to get. Found it from a guy who happened to have a bunch on hand, got a really good price, got them over here to the States, so that was nice. But that was just to do LULZCODE. We need all 4 megabytes of that RAM to run. So to put it into developer mode, Just going to go ahead and restart. I have a restart button on this prototype. When the I LED turns solid red, hold down the down button and then let go. So you see there it's in developer mode. And what you should see in this terminal, and it's just repeating C, 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 C. That's a Y modem. Excuse me, that's a Y modem command. Basically, yeah, I'm trying to send you a file, I'm trying to receive a file. And then if I want to run this, so this is our bling.lulz, LULZ is our extension, and that's what all these things run off of. I can just click this, and we'll go and run. So now you see the loading screen, and there. So this is an actual menu. We had the whole badge running in this, but it's just a little too slow. But our bling menu does run this way. So people have asked, hey, how can I add my own bling? You've got to do it in LOL or LULZCODE. So we're going to go ahead and troll you that way. Have fun with it. But it's not too bad. And I think if you just follow the pattern we have, you can do it. Even Hiron's able to do it. Go ahead and just run like our emoji bling mode. And there's some things where we've wrapped C just so it'd run fast enough. And then when I hit the left button, I can quit that. And quit that, and it should go back to developer mode, and we should get those C's going across the screen. Let's change this text. So what I'm going to try to do, I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to rewrite our Flappy Bird from last year and the year before. Yeah, I know, Hiron, I got it. That's what I was just changing. I'm going to try to write our Flappy Bird from the last couple of years in LULZCODE. I don't know if this will work. I don't know if I'll finish tonight. If it does, I may continue tomorrow. I'm still kind of jet lagged, so we'll see how far I can go, but it should be fun. So we do have documentation, and that's probably something that's just as fun. So, excuse me, it's hosted on GeoCities. This is the API. We added I think 70 different statements and expressions to LULCODE. We removed Unicode support. Unicode used 400K of flash, which is just way too much for us. But yeah, we added about 70 different expressions, and then it's all documented here. Every single one that's in there is on this page. And try not to get distracted by the cats. So that's the LULZCODE page here, and then something I am still working on, and this page is live now. It's been live for a few days, just no one's found it. The API. So we've done some abstraction in LULZCODE to give you things like menus and lists and pop-ups and title bars and all those kind of fun things. Who knows what people are going to come up with, but I need to finish the documentation on this. But LULZCODE, this is where we'll stay mostly today. And these are all the things we've added. So the API, we've added API checking. So this was so that, hey, if Hiron's running an old version of the badge, because it doesn't flash it all the time, does it actually support a LULZCODE language feature. So the production release number is 2600. So you have to start all of your code with hi 2600, and you end it with k thanks bye. It's also important if you have a file that's going to be included in another file, you do not include those two statements. You also use the .lulz extension. Friends, this is equivalent to a pound include in C. Letters, they did not support single character, so we added that, so you can say, and that's a way to do ASCII conversion to a single character. So like I has a variable, it's 65, visible make var a letter, and that should return, I think, A. I'm not that good with my ASCII, but I can Google it. We also did count, nod, cut, and yo. That's ways to parse strings into individual characters or change substrings, whatever. Buckets. I love this GIF, by the way. We did extend buckets a little bit so you can get a count of how many items are in a bucket. The weird thing about LULZCODE with buckets, they have memory leaks because it's not fully supported in 1.2. It's sort of a 1.3 feature they never finished, but it's in there. It's the combination of a struct, an object, and an array all in one. So it works about as well as you expect something like that to work, but just good enough for what we need. Colors. There we have two different color maps or color schemes on the badge: 565 16-bit color for the LCD and 24-bit RGB for the LEDs. So there's some conversion tools that let you convert between those. Some constants: how wide, how tall. It returns how big the screen is. Screen buffer. The screen is buffered. One of the benefits of having 4 megabytes of RAM, we can buffer the screen. So use LOLOLOL to push the buffer. Whatever you've drawn, you push it with LOLOLOL to the screen all at once. And it's pretty fast. We're running at about 40 megahertz SPI bus versus 8 megahertz last year. I am not purring, Mikey. Let's see. So text, there's a whole bunch of text commands. Crayon sets the color, shout sets the font size, how spread measures the width, how big measures the height. Laser moves the cursor around. Insides lets you set a cursor area for wrapping and clipping. Very useful if you're doing GUIs. And meow actually prints it to the screen. I say this so matter of fact, but it's funny to read some of the code, and we'll get into that in a second. And then shapes, and you just fill the screen with all, dot, round, cat and round box, etc. If you want to draw a raw file to the screen, we do raws the same way as last year, and we'll publish the exact ffmpeg command to help with that later. That's catnip. LEDs, so blinkies, so you can set a single LED or set all, and LEDs are also buffered like the screen, except use LOLOL to push the LED buffer. Except for the eye LED, that is not buffered. It's just PWM'd, and that's wink with a value of 0 to 255. In April, the correct way to pronounce GIF is GIF. None of that GIF stuff. Bling, of course, you gotta do bling. This is not something we could do natively in LULZCODE because it requires so much DMA and so little interruption between pulling the bits off of the SD card and onto the screen. But use Rickroll Wit, and that's a path. You give it a pattern. We've got 17 patterns built in. We may add a few more if we have time, and then whether or not you want to loop. And so you can give it, these are just give it an integer, or we have those mapped in an include file. Buttons, so we map all the buttons so you can get the current state as a bit mask with kita. You can clear the button state with bad kita. Pounds will block until a button's pressed. And then what's up, down, left, right, what B, and is go is kind of a helper functions for that. Let's see, meow mix. What's meow mix? Oh, meow mix, that gets input. So that's a wrapper to our input UI. We did have that running in LULZCODE. Some of the code's still in our Git somewhere, but we did this because input was going just so slow. We wrapped it in C. It's much faster, much more slick. I agree with Carl. Doesn't need a JIT compiler. We may take this into next year and do something with that. Having written compilers back in my undergrad, this was not a very different experience from that. The code in LCI that Justin put together is very well done. It follows the standard, tokenization, parsing, all that sort of stuff. You get a parse tree, and then you do the interpreter, or you can do some sort of compilation. So we may adapt it in that way. Constants, blah blah blah. Random values. They did not support random values, so we did crazy go nuts. We wrapped the accelerometer with sideways, upways, and outways. That's X, Y, and Z values, and then tilts, and that's tilts as I think it's an arctangent of X and Y, so you can get the degrees relative to the badge wearer's head. I squared C. So this is something we've been holding close for quite a while, but the shitty add-on, as well as the add-on that comes into the mouth of a bender, this is how you do it. Noms and nom. This is how you interact with your add-on right here. It's really, really simple. You just say, I'm going to send to this 7-bit address, this register, this byte. Boom, you're done. System calls, we wrap some things like running ski-free and botnet, those sorts of things in the system calls. Basically just call a string and something will happen. You can get a bucket of peers by calling badges. time is done by ticks and pause. Ticks, current time in milliseconds, pause, delay for some X number of milliseconds. If you want a list of files in a path, you dab for them. If you want to run a chip 8 file, that's nachos, so that's the chip 8 emulator from last year. We ported that forward. Use nachos in the path to the file. It'll handle the rest. You can validate unlocks with cheeseburger, and then you can get your current unlock state as a bit mask with elite. And then this is just a reference of all the tokens we added. So that's that. So let's go ahead and try this. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new, let's see, I think it's A, yep. So flappy.lulz, hi, 26, let's move that out of the way. And okay, thanks, bye. I did work on the graphics already. I haven't put them on the badge yet. But I've already started. I want to do the Planet Express, and then I have some of the pipes and such. I just need to put those onto the badge itself. So I'll get those scripts started now. A different screen. Top, bottom, and ship. Okay, and then alright, so while that runs, it's basically rebuilding the SD card as we speak. Oh shoot. The other thing I want to figure out what the background color was, so on here, go ahead and just grab this blue. Alright, anyone knows what 7.1... Actually, screw it, I can do the RGB thing. So go 0 to 255, 113, 197, 207. See if I can remember that. 113, 197, 207. And then in my documentation, so what I want to do is convert that to a 565 color, and I want to do it with Roy G. Biff 2, of course. So declare a variable. I has a background. It's Roy G. Biff 2, and let's see, 113, 197. 207. I should be highlighting Roy G. Biff 2. Anybody misspelled it? Oh, it's only one F in Biff. There we go. Alright. So, say all background, and then we need to push that to the screen. More cowbell. Yes, more cowbell. And no audio speaker on this year's badge. Give the credit to Charlie X on that one. Let's just go ahead and do this. And then we'll, oh yeah, pounce. So remember, pounce waits for the person to press the button. Upload this. We should see, there we go. So there's that blue color. And it should be waiting for me to press button. Did. Perfect. See, it's not so bad. Alright. I'm going to copy these graphics over to SD card. You could arbitrarily upload any file over Y modem. I've tried that. It's so unbearably slow. And we don't change graphics that often. I do default to this method. Maybe in the future we'll improve that. But who knows? So that copies. Yeah, I know you can't find that. So it was Catnip that drew the graphic, I think. I do have to go back for reference. Sorry, I'm gonna pour more beer while I say this, so try not to be distracted. In Flappy Bird, the user is fixed at one location on the x-axis, and then you just change in the y-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and just set this at the screen's 220 by 176, so I'll go ahead and set it like 50, and then 176 divided by 2 is 80.